Cummings HDC property deals under scrutiny by Joshua Simongal. Last Sunday, Guardian Media's investigations desk revealed that 5 companies linked to former People's National Movement, PNM minister and current opposition Senator Foster Cummings received more than $100 million in state contracts from the Housing Development Corporation, HDC, and the Urban Development Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago, UDECOT, between 2015 and 2025. That reporting followed earlier findings that 2 companies owned by Cummings' wife and daughter, Pickle Services and Rivulet Investments, secured $15.6 million in contract extensions ahead of the 2025 general election. At the same time, Cummings' real estate portfolio expanded as reflected in Integrity Commission filings. This included 2 properties obtained from the HDC. Now, further investigation has uncovered a property transaction during COVID-19 involving the Cummings family. The deal raises questions about the HDC's due diligence under the PNM administration, particularly in allocating properties intended for low-income families. Juliette Cummings, the wife of PNM General Secretary Foster Cummings, purchased a Housing Development Corporation HDC property, land, from a relative for $100,000. A 3-story structure was later observed on the Belisier Avenue Couva site. This, according to documents seen by Guardian Media's investigations desk, is at odds with HDC regulations and town and country planning approvals, where only a residential building was permitted. The property, land, was purchased from a relative, Mariah Salazar, who is also a former director of a company owned by Juliette Cummings. Salazar had bought the property under a lease purchase agreement with HDC for $51,640 in 2017. In 2021, it was sold to Cummings for $100,000, only 15% of its $670,000 valuation as assessed by surveyor Charles Lawrence, while the HDC had a contractual option to repurchase the property from Salazar, which would maximize a return on investment for the state company. The corporation did not exercise this option. Today, a commercial building stands on the site, where the Cummings family already owns multiple properties, despite approvals saying a residential building ought to be constructed. Guardian Media could not find any objection on HDC records for Cummings to purchase the property at that price or any attempt to get a market value for the property. The HDC, in a Freedom of Information Act request document, confirmed that it did not compile a valuation report to ascertain market value and make an informed decision on whether to purchase the property or not. Apart from 429 Belisier Avenue, the HDC confirmed that it permitted Rivulet Investment Group Limited, owned by the Cummings family and Foster Cummings, to acquire 2 other properties, a $4.5 million Victoria Keys apartment cabinet valuation for Rivulet Investments Limited and land valued at $750,000 for number 73 Belisier Avenue, Couva South Housing Project for Foster Cummings in January 2015. When Guardian Media visited 429 Belisier Drive, we observed a modern commercial building with large glass window panes. Inside, the property was an office space with multiple ceiling lights and ceiling tiles installed. It takes up the entirety of that corner of Belisier Street and the southern main road. Located right next door is a large, luxurious house with a lavish driveway and front gate, as well as an elaborately constructed porch overlooking the area. The initials FC are displayed across the top of the front gate and even on the garbage bag holder. On the same stretch as the building with the FC initials, there is a peach-colored commercial building. According to Guardian Media's investigations desk research, there are 2 businesses registered to that Anissa Street property, Modeste Auto Rentals and Isidore Exclusive. Both businesses are registered to Juliette Modeste, the maiden name of Juliette Cummings. On the other side of Belisier Avenue, over on Belisier Street West, is another property Cummings bought from the HDC in January 2015, before the PNM came to power. It's a simple, 1-story, lime green building located next to a food business that needs a new coat of paint. In compliance with the Integrity in Public Life Act, Foster Cummings has declared his assets since entering public office. His holdings grew over time. He declared 9 properties in 2018, 2019, and 2 more in 2020, a total of 12 by 2021. Those properties include land in Fabian Street, Gasparillo, Garahu Trace, Chase Village, Chaguanas, Lighthouse Avenue, Signal Hill, Tobago, Exchange Estate, Couva, Indian Trail, Couva, Lisa's Gardens Housing Project, Couva, and Sherwood Park, Carnby, Tobago. He also has land and buildings in Southern Main Road, Couva, Anissa Street, Point Lisas, Rollins Avenue, Gasparillo, and Belize Avenue, Lisa's Gardens, Couva. Approvals and valuations. The sublease deed for 429 Belize Drive stated it shall only be used for the purpose of a single private dwelling house only for the lessor's occupation and her immediate family, who must occupy the premises during the term hereby granted, save where consent in writing to assign is granted. Salazar was granted permission to erect a single private dwelling house by Town and Country in July 2017. However, in September 2021, Salazar wrote to HDC to notify it that she could not complete the construction of the house as stated in the lease. By this time, the pandemic had set in and my livelihood was seriously affected. The monies that I wanted to utilize in the construction of the home now went towards rent and other living expenses. It was at this time that I had a discussion with my close relative, Juliette Modeste. Ms. Modeste is like a mother to me, Salazar wrote. She offered to assist with the financial aspect of completing the construction of the home. I felt it would only be fair if she were to have legal title to the property, as she would not only bear the costs to complete construction, but in addition I would be able to live in the house for as long as I wanted. Juliette Cummings, using her maiden name Modeste, purchased the property for $100,000, although Charles Lawrence's valuation placed its worth at $670,000. This was contained in a witness statement filed by former United National Congress, UNC, Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal in a civil matter involving her and Foster Cummings. A 2020 valuation report by Lawrence stated that the unfinished structure had 3, not 2, levels. As per our inspection, we saw 3 cast concrete slabs, hence we referred to the structure as a 3-story building. However, the client has supplied an approved building plan, which shows that the subject structure is approved as a 2-story building structure with a rooftop cast and left open-sided, Lawrence wrote. According to the property valuation for Juliette Cummings in 2020, having made comparisons and analyses with other similar parcels of developed lands and having made adjustments for location, locality, size, and development approvals of these developed lands, we are of the opinion that this current open market value of subject lands is in the order of $670,000. Legal matters against Jayanti dropped. In 2019, a leaked Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Special Branch report, confirmed by the TTPS to be legitimate, alleged that Foster Cummings claimed 3 parcels of land belonging to the HDC as his own. The report, confirmed by the TTPS to be legitimate, alleged that he conducted unscrupulous business using 2 companies, Kilden and Pikal, allegedly using his influence to subcontract services through the HDC. Cummings sued Lakshmidiyal for defamation after she raised allegations related to the leaked Special Branch report, accusing her of painting him in a negative light. He also sued the state in relation to this matter. Guardian Media's investigations desk also confirmed that Foster Cummings dropped his 2 defamation lawsuits against the former UNC senator. As part of withdrawing the case, the former government minister agreed to cover all Lakshmidiyal's legal costs. Lakshmidiyal's legal team was led by Anand Ramlogan, SC. Approached for comment, she said, direct any questions to the claimant as he withdrew. It is unclear if the matter against the state was dropped as well. Asked about the allegations in May 2022, former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said he saw nothing to confirm the claims. I don't know if any law is broken there. Other allegations have been made, which have been denied. I've seen no confirmation of them, but they're in the right place. They are in the police's hands. And if the police cannot confirm any of that to me, as they do from time to time, what am I supposed to act on, he said. Cummings was reappointed as Minister of National Service and Youth Development by Stuart Young during his stint as Prime Minister in March. He was then re-elected as PNM's General Secretary in its internal elections in June. Cummings' response. Cummings was asked if he or his wife acquired 492 Balisier Drive and whether he was aware that the property was valued at $670,000. We also asked him whether he sees any reason why it may be considered strange that a HDC property was sold to his wife by her relative for well below its value, considering the HDC had first refusal on the property. On September 12th, at a press conference held by the opposition, Cummings, referring to questions sent by Guardian Media's investigations desk, said, "Any parcel of land owned by myself or my family, either in Trinidad or Tobago, has been legally acquired and legal procedures properly followed, as with any other citizen acquiring property in this country. I have never been involved in squatting on any lands whatsoever, whether public or private." On September 11th, Cummings told this reporter, "You have an objective. You are trying to paint me as a corrupt politician. What are the facts? Why are you not reporting on other business people in this country? Do you have a problem with businessmen of a certain ilk? Joshua, I will not be helping you defame me and my family. You print what you want, and at the appropriate time, I will respond." Guardian Media's investigations desk reached out to Juliette Cummings via her Facebook account, which is listed as Juliette Modeste. She saw the message but subsequently blocked the reporter on Messenger.